Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching from. My name is Judy. Welcome to the Voice of Worship podcast. Just want to think about this question. If God doesn't do it, if God doesn't fix it, what would you do? This brought me to the story of Martha and Mary with during the time that they had lost their brother Lazarus, and they had waited for Jesus. During the period that their brother was sick, they waited for Jesus for some days. I don't know how many days, but the Bible says that he was sick. And then he died. So after he died, Jesus appears after 3 days, after he was buried. And when he comes, imagine if that was your brother, and Jesus was a friend of the family, and he was the best friend of Lazarus. He doesn't appear when Lazarus needed him, maybe to see him for the last time, and then he just appears when he was long dead, buried in the tomb, already decomposing. And so these two ladies in verse 21 and 22 of Mark, the Bible says that they were telling Jesus that if you had been here, our brother would not have been dead. They knew that Jesus had the power to heal him. And that is why they would expect that he would come before their brother died. And so he comes when it's already too late. Then after the conversation they had, Jesus tells them that your brother will wake up. And they don't understand. They know that the waking up that he's talking about is during the resurrection when Jesus comes back. But Jesus was meaning that he was going to rise from that death tomb. And so he went to the tomb later and he called Lazarus. And despite the fact that in a normal circumstance, after somebody is dead, it's expected after 3 days this body is already decomposing. Yeah, so Jesus did it beyond their expectations. They believed that it's gone, it's done, and he's not coming back. But he still came back. Think about the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the book of Daniel, chapter 3. They were thrown into the fire, heated 7 times. In fact, the Bible says that those who threw them in that fire were burnt. They died. They were burnt and they died. But when they were thrown in that fire, from the expectations of people is that because they believed in God, people wanted to see that their God delivering them so that they are not thrown in the fire. But he did not do it. Still, he did not do it. So, but they still said, even if our God does not save us, we are not going to bow down to this image, to any other God. And so they were thrown in the fire. If you were in that position, would you wait until you're thrown into the fire? And that God that you trust has not yet delivered you. I don't know how many of us Christians would wait upon God, will just stand their ground, even if what is happening is not desirable to them. Yeah, so if God does not do it, will you still trust him? I look at Job and just wonder how long it should go before you give up, or until you continue trusting God. Job lost his family. He lost all his wealth. He was the wealthiest person. The Bible records that. And he lost everything. But he still said that, I know my Redeemer liveth. In a time when he almost lost himself, because after losing everything, he even lost his health. He was very sick. And he still trusted God. He still believed that he had not done anything wrong, and that still God is with him. And so, even after passing through all that, Job still trusted God. And at the end of it, the Bible says that God restored everything to him. He restored everything to him 7 times. And so sometimes God allows, in fact, most of the times when we are going through this, you cannot go through something that God has not allowed as a Christian. So he allows us to go through that for him to glorify himself. If Job had given up and turned against God as he was being advised by his wife and his friends, he would not live to see the goodness of God. And so if we want God to really manifest himself in our situations, however tough it may be, just keep trusting God. Even if he's not doing it now, he will do it. He will still do it. And even if he doesn't do it, let's trust him in what he says in Jeremiah 29:11, that I know the plans I have for you, not to harm you, to bring you a future and a hope. Thank you.